it would have taken weeks to capture address details of new applicants. New registrations account for 433,198 applications. This accounts for 25% of the total registration activity. The re-registrations account for the balance of 1.2 million. The province with the highest registration activity is KwaZulu-Natal with 358,384. This is followed by the province of Gauteng with 315,282 applications. In the third place is the Eastern Cape with 240,514 applications. Young persons in the age category 16 to 29 account for 402,401 of new registrations, which is 91% of all new registrations. Therefore, this registration effort has elicited a good response from young persons. A well-entrenched pattern of there being more female participants continues. 52% of all new registrations were female voters. Since its inception in July, the online registration portal has processed 499,488 applications, which is just under 500,000. Yesterday, 121,000 applicants used this digital channel of registration. Our expectation is that the use of the portal will remain on the top end for most of today as people use the remaining hours to register. This digital channel provides voters with the convenience of use in terms of time of application as well as place of application. It will become an anchor mechanism of registrations for the future. In this regard, a solid base has been laid for its future use. The Commission welcomes the proclamation of the election day by the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. This legal act formally institutes the registrations for the future. In this regard, a solid base has been laid for its future. The gentleman speaks in a very bad voice, eh? The Commission welcomes the proclamation of the election date by the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. This legal act formally institutes the election phase in the reconstitution of municipal councils within the local sphere of government. The ministerial proclamation has made it possible for the Commission to publish an amended election timetable. The amendments to the election timetable are a consequence of the reopening of the registration process. The amended timetable will be published in the Government Gazette today. Some of the key electoral milestones are as follows. The candidate nomination process will now close at 5 on 21st September 2021. A final list of candidates will be published on the 29th of September, and candidates will be issued with certificates on the 1st of October 2021. Copies of the provisionally compiled voters' roll will be made available to electoral contestants between the 21st and 23rd of September. The Commission will make decisions in relation to objections raised on Friday, 24 September 2021. And the voters' roll will then be certified on the 26th of September. Applications for special votes open today and will close on 4 October 2021. Special votes will be cast on both the 30th and 31st of October. Applications from persons who are unable to visit voting stations due to infirmity will be visited at homes or places of confinement, while other successful candidates will cast their special votes at the voting stations. The Constitutional Court handed down judgment in the application of the Electoral Commission to defer elections to February 2022 over the weekend. The Commission has already announced measures to comply with the measures of court, with the orders of court. The handing down of this judgment has provided all role players with clarity in relation to the interplay between the regularity of elections on the one hand and the constitutional imperative for free and fair and safe elections. The Commission accepts that it must strive for free and fair elections even in the prevailing COVID-19 circumstances. This morning, the court provided judgment in the secondary case in relation to the amendment of the electoral timetable. The Constitutional Court held that the act of amending the timetable in these circumstances is not impeachable. The Commission acted lawfully within the parameters of its empowering statutory provisions. Furthermore, the court held that on the papers before it, the impartiality of the Commission could not be impugned. The clarity provided by the Constitutional Court on this matter has laid a solid foundation for all parties to focus on preparing for the election. On its part, the Commission will continue to discharge its responsibility with decisions rooted in the Constitution and the law. Such an approach ensures that we remain true to the constitutional duty of delivering a free and fair elections. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CEO. I'm going to open the floor for questions. The journalist in the NEF Center with us here. Also, we've got other journalists online. Let's take the first round of questions. Introduce yourself and then pose the question.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you hear me? Okay,
yes.
Yeah. It's Natasha Perry here from SABC News. I think I was reading through your statement yesterday, and it had said, I think 9 voting stations out of over 23,000 did not open up due to service delivery protests. So, I mean, for those voters within those voting stations or those districts who actually want to vote, what happens then? Was provision made for those people who wanted to vote? Another issue, I've been receiving complaints from people also on Twitter complaining about the online registration process. Some have been saying that they can't actually, register to vote. And since the system will be closing at midnight tonight, are you not worried that the system could actually, clutter up and it could pose challenges for those who actually want to vote? Also, the issue that happened yesterday, Guatambuza and KZN, we saw visuals there of the CIC of the EFF, Mr. Malema, being prevented by ANC members allegedly from actually entering the voting station. Has the EFF also laid a complaint with the IEC already? And what process then needs to unfold? Does the matter actually get taken to the Electoral Court? If those ANC members are found guilty, does that then mean that the ANC within that specific ward will actually be disqualified? Sorry, I've got a couple of questions. On the new voter management system, I also saw a statement, just correct me if I'm wrong, citing that there were actually challenges with the system. Since you are replacing the old zip codes with this new voter management device, how could you then ensure that the same glitches that were experienced this weekend won't actually be experienced come the 1st of November? I think I'll just ask the other questions as the second one comes by. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, true. Okay, all right. Looks like that's the only bundle of questions that we have. All right. Okay, CEO, let's deal with those on the online platform. Let's have a look if we've got any other particular questions. Can we also get the CEO to report the first bit of the statement on the overall outcomes, especially with the top 2 provinces? He was muted for a while. I wasn't aware that we were muted, CEO. There was a bit of a technical issue here on there was a person that sounded like you, I remember speaking. And then let's have a look. This is Nogukanya from Jacaranda FM. The Concord ruled in favor of the IEC in the DA's application to challenge the reopening of the candidate list. Does this vindicate the IEC? There's a question. The second one, parties such as the IFP claim the IEC lacks in transparency and consistency in how it deals with the candidate lists, and parties that previously missed the deadlines, but adding the IEC has been biased towards some. Is there a bias? The third question, some registration stations weren't able to open over the weekend. What are the implications? Those are the 3 questions in addition to the ones who have picked up on the floor from Jacaranda FM. If I may allow the CEO to deal with some of those issues. CEO, thank you very much.
Okay, no, thank you very much. Let's deal with the issue of reported bias with respect to the reopening of candidate nomination system. I think the approach of the Commission was that let the matter be adjudicated in the highest court of the land. And the court has adjudicated the matter and found that the Commission acted within the parameters of the law. Furthermore, the court held that on the papers before it, the impartiality of the Commission could not be impugned. So in other words, on the evidence available before court, there is no basis to come to that conclusion. Now, the Commission indicates that it will make decisions rooted in the Constitution and rooted in electoral law. And it will do so without fear, favor, or prejudice. The Commission is not going to make decisions on account of popular sentiment. That's not how the electoral process must be managed. The electoral process has to be managed in a lawful manner, which means respecting the constitutional imperatives as well as the prescripts that govern the Commission. And that includes, I think, deference to the Concord. The Concord is the highest court in the land. It has assessed the evidence before it, and it has reached a decision. And that really should settle the matter going forward. The online glitches. Yesterday, okay, let's put it this way. Since we launched the online application portal in July, 500,000 people have used that portal. And yesterday, 124,000 people used that portal Since last Wednesday, we experienced an increased use, increased traffic on the online portal. And since we experienced those difficulties, we've built capacity and made certain technical changes. I'll just give you a few for today. That portal was working on 20 virtual servers for most part of last week. We've increased server capacity with 10 additional servers just to increase additional infrastructural capacity to handle the increased traffic. And on the mapping functionality, we removed certain layers such as municipal boundaries, VD boundaries, and so on, but retained the ward boundary because that's the basis of the electoral contest. So it was important that we retained the ward layer. So those are some of the interventions that we've introduced, and since we've done so, there's been great improvement in the performance of the online facility. So we're monitoring it on a 24-hour basis, and where there are problems that emerge, we are able to intervene at short notice to ensure that there's no service disruptions. Well, in terms of the voting stations where we are not able to operate, that's quite regrettable because yesterday the weekend's process was really giving people an opportunity to register so as they can express their constitutional rights by way of voting on the 1st of November. The voters' roll is closing today, and we hope that those people will still be able to enlist themselves via the online facility which is available. I'll leave to Commissioner Love the issue of the Concord victory, whether it vindicates us, as well as the issue of the KwaDambuza incident yesterday. Commissioner Love.
So first of all, I think with regard to the decision of the Constitutional Court, what it has done is it has clarified a number of issues, and to the extent that it has confirmed that we are acting within the framework of the law and that there is no basis on which to come to any view that we are acting with partiality, I think that that is the extent to which we know that we as the Commission, but more especially all of the candidates, political parties and independents can and must go forward with vigor into the campaigning process. We respect what the court has decided, and we accept that this is what must guide us going forward in the future. I can only reiterate that from the perspective of the Commission, we are very clear that we cannot and will not act in a partial manner. We have done this in the interests of inclusivity, and that is in order to give the voters, who are ultimately those stakeholders in an electoral process who must determine the future of their local areas. So I'm not sure I hope that that's answered the question. With regard to the incident that we have received, we were able to see or pick up some reports on from the media that happened in KwaDambuza in terms of KwaZulu-Natal and what happened in relation to prevention of members, including the leadership of the EFF by the African National Congress. We have not at this stage received a complaint. And obviously, on receipt of such a complaint, we will deal with it accordingly. Suffice to say, however, that to the extent that there has been any attempt by the ANC to prevent the EFF from accessing any area, there is a very legitimate ground for the EFF to lodge a complaint, and we would not take that as something other than being very serious. This is a country where everybody should have the right to contest freely and have the right to access every community in order to express what it is that their party is hoping to do and to deliver. So we'll wait to receive such a complaint should it be submitted to us, and obviously then it will be clearer what sort of process we need to embark on.
Thank you very much, VC. I see a hand already going up. All right, Ceci.
It's Natasha again. Could you please also just answer the question on the new, the voter management devices? Also, I just wanted to know, in terms of the candidate nomination system, the last time the IEC had extended the time by a couple of hours, will we see that take place? Because I know the deadline is tomorrow at 5 p.m. Also, the last time, I think it was earlier on this year, the IEC had indicated that there was one outstanding by-elections that needed to be conducted. What then happens? I mean, the by-elections were supposed to take place on the 30th of June, correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, then the Constitutional Court and, but I mean, what happens to that by-election? Will it still take place before the elections? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. I don't see any other hand. The questions on my platform have been covered. Let me double check. The other question, CEO, there's a question that says, can CEO say something about surpassing the target for voter registration weekend? Surpassing our target that we have set for this weekend. If you can just comment on that. And then, CEO, can we deal with those questions? Are there any other issues? I'm trying also to track my online platform.
No, let's not create questions if they're
no, they're not, sir. They're not. Yeah, they're not. I'm just double checking that I'm not missing anyone on any of the platforms. I'm working on dual platforms, so I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody. CEO, let's deal with that, the questions from Natasha, and also on the issue of surpassing the target for the voter registration weekend. If you may please deal with those.
CEO, do you want to come this
Yeah, CEO, please, I requested. VC, thank you very much for dealing with those two questions.
Well, we are happy that we've been able to realize these figures, and we are even more happier because 91% of the new registrations are young persons, people under the ages under the age of 29. So it's a big improvement, perhaps not enough, but we've made huge strides. In this regard, the use of the online registration portal is beginning to give us the benefits of getting young persons to be part of our political processes. Now, the issue of the VMD, the VMD has performed admirably over the weekend. Because of the VMD, all these persons, 1.7 million of them who registered over the weekend, we have their addresses on record. Previously, at this point, we would be now capturing addresses and so on. We don't have that problem. and will be able to provide to electoral contestants tomorrow an inspection voters roll, so that they can look at the roll and where there are anomalies, objections can be raised, and the commission can look at them. So the VMD has given us the ability to do things quicker and to do things comprehensively, because we have been able to integrate and consolidate business processes. Now, per plan, and this is important, per plan, the VMD is able to operate both off and online. It's per plan. It's part of its build-up, that it must be able to work offline and it must be able to work online. So to the extent that it was necessary to switch to offline doesn't mean that there was a problem. It only meant that it was operating in one of the modes that were built into the process. The by-election outstanding, that by-election, we will be going to the Electoral Court to get an order that allows us to stand over that by-election until the elections. Basically, the point is that nothing will be served by conducting that by-election when we have an election on our hands. But we need the Electoral Court to authorize that situation. Commissioner Love, you say?
Yes, yeah.
No, are we going to extend the candidate nomination closing time? The Commission, on a previous occasion, out of concern for parties, and after parties had raised difficulties that they were experiencing, decided to push the closing time from 5 to 9. But we now know that that created consternation. I can't speak for the Commission, but given the consternation that was created on that occasion, I don't foresee that the time will be extended again. So, to candidates out there, political parties out there, if you intend taking advantage of this opportunity, do it early, do it today if you can, do it in the evening if you can, and not wait until the last minute tomorrow. So that's really the message we want to get across. We are open for business until 5 p.m. tomorrow, insofar as nominations are concerned.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, this brings to an end the media briefing for this afternoon. The rest of the information will be shared on all our online platforms, Facebook, all the social media platforms, and all. CEO, now you see what it's typical of her. Last question says, before I wrap up. Natasha.
I'm so sorry, just for the benefit of the viewers, okay. Please. So, okay, special votes. Talk us through the process of special votes. People can now apply for special votes at closing in October. What process do they need to follow? Please read up the WhatsApp numbers, the website as well. But also my colleague, who's the camera operator, Kwazi Manzi, is struggling to actually access the system right now. Keeps on kicking him out. So if you'll just address those things, just for the benefit of the public, South Africans at large. Thank you.
Applications for special votes open today, and there are different channels through which an application can be made. Firstly, you can apply online. You can apply by sending an SMS to us through your ID. And thirdly, you can apply by submitting an application form, a physical form, at the office of the local representative of the Commission. The application period closes on the 4th of October at 5 o'clock. And we did indicate in our previous interaction with ourselves that special votes in these elections are going to assume a heightened importance because we do want to use special votes to depopulate voting stations on election day. And the more people use special votes on the 30th and 31st of October, the more we'll be in a position to depopulate voting stations for the first. So we also want to call on yourselves as officials working in the media industry, because some of you may be working on election day, that you take advantage of the special votes and apply so that you can vote on either the 30th or 31st of October. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, CEO. Cheers and goodbye. We'll meet on all the platforms. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, from the CEO to the people. Okay. All right. May I, okay. Let me get the CEO just to repeat, because we missed him in the earlier part of the link, just to repeat, CEO, how we've performed this weekend on the media statement.
The Electoral Commission is pleased to report that over 1.7 million voters registered during the special two-day registration weekend, which took place on the 18th and 19th of September. This registration yield is inclusive of new registrations as well as voters correcting their registration details. Innovation in the voter management devices has increased the speed for the processing of applications. Approved applications already have their addresses captured. Previously, it would have taken weeks to capture address details of new applicants. The new registrations account for 433,198 applications. This accounts for 25% of the total registration activity. The registrations account for 1.2 million applications. The province with the highest registration activity is KwaZulu-Natal with 358,384 applications. This is followed by Gauteng province with 315,282 applications. In the third place is the Eastern Cape with 240,514 applications. Young persons in the age category 16 to 29 years account for 402,401 of new registrations, which is 91%. Therefore, this registration effort has elicited a good response from young people. A well-entrenched pattern of there being more female participants continues. 52% of all new registrations were female voters. Since its inception in July, the online registration portal has processed 499,488 applications. Yesterday, 121,414 applications used this digital channel of registration. Our expectation is that the use of the portal will remain on the top end for most of today as people use the remaining hours to register. This digital channel provides voters the convenience of use in terms of the time of application as well as the place of application. It will become an anchor mechanism of registration for the future. A solid basis has been laid for its future use.
Thank you very much. I think CEO has done a brilliant work of ensuring that we understand how we performed this weekend. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's call it quits and goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Natasha. CEO. Yo, what have I? Yo, okay, are we going to use inside the bowl? Okay. Natasha is one. Let me check again. Let me check again. Let me check the other two channels.
How